Welcome back to some more Switch Sports Golf ranked gameplay action. We have another almost full lobby, 7 out of 8 people here, but we have another very solid lobby and a couple of repeat players from our last game that I recorded. So Duke and JTS are the number 1 and number 3 players, and they are now looking to get their revenge on me after I had a pretty good round last time I recorded one. Chef Curry is also someone we play against quite a bit in the streams. Kevin and Eric are other very solid players who I play with quite frequently. So this Ranked League has a lot of regulars, which is very nice. We'll start here on an interesting hole 16. Looks like just about everybody made it through the shortcut there. We'll end up with a couple of chips, a couple of opportunities to chip this one in. Duke has chipped in for the eagle. Nice shot to Duke. JTS is right next to me lining one up. I think the backspin might be the play here, but it also might not work very well. We'll see. It's tough to tell sometimes whether you want to roll it out or spin it in. The spin looks like it'll work. Nice. So JTS has also chipped in. That's at least 3 eagles. I see that. I think Eric has birdied. I'm not sure if anyone else was on screen, so we'll have to check the results at the end here. Yeah, so we see 3 eagles and a couple birdies. So a good start to that round for me. Duke and JTS also hit a solid chip there. And that's not an easy one to make, so birdies are not a bad score with that setup on hole 16. We'll move on to hole 5 as our second hole. And it looks like we'll have some moderate cross/tailwind. So a nice setup here. Alright, let's send that one just left of the tree. Definitely safe of that big tree on the left, but we can carry that first tree on the left, no problem. So as long as I hit a full drive, and I do, that should be perfectly fine. I don't think we can get there in 2, but we can get pretty close. And we can give it a run. We see one of the tougher pins here, but it's the local pin. It's one that I'm used to. So perhaps a slight advantage for me. We can use that little bump and run that I've been doing in my eagle strategies. Now I leave that one a little bit short, which is not preferable. But it'll be fine. It's not going to cause too much harm to lose a couple yards there. Some people are a little bit closer. They'll have a slightly easier chip. But this bump and run with the 7 iron, I'm going to call it, feels like it should be the right play. So we'll hit that up there with the 7 iron. Try to get the speed on this right. And see, that looks like it's on a good line, but it'll just miss to the left. So perhaps from that angle, that's a straighter shot. It doesn't really move right all that much. Even though the wind, I thought, might push it a little bit, it doesn't quite move that much once it hits the green. So I'll have to keep that in mind. And we will see a lot of near misses. So that is a very precise pin to try to hit. It's not the easiest. A couple of us just barely missed it. And it looks like we'll see a bunch of birdies on the board. So we do see 6 birdies out of 7 players. The 3 of us in the lead have birdied that one. We'll have Chef Curry and Eric just behind us at -2. So we'll have hole 11 here as our third hole. And that local pin once again, so that offline mode pin, one that I see quite often, and hopefully one that I can hit. So the wind's going to move this a bit, not a ton. I'm going to want to use the 5 iron with maybe about that, a little more power than that. Probably about that much power. Now the adjustment here is throwing me off a little bit. I think this is probably fine. Chef Curry has hit the flag, which is a real close call. I think I like that shot. That's going to land in a good spot. Now if that comes back and zips back down that hill, wow, I'll get it to fall. What a crazy hole-in-one through the wind. I feel like I got lucky there. I wasn't quite sure on the adjustment, and I just sent one out there. I got the power right. That's the important thing, is getting the power right. Landed it right next to the hole, and it rolls back super nicely after getting a nice bounce. JTS has ended up behind the green, which is a place where I end up fairly frequently. I mean, it's when you're spinning it, it's easy to overpower the shot. Duke's shot is on a great line that should zip back and it'll lip out 90 degrees. Wow, what a tough break there for Duke. That looked like it was on a great line. Now, a different line than the one that mine ended up on. So I bounced about pin high, went to the back of the green, and it trickled back down. Duke lands it shorter, just sneaks by the pin, but it has a lot more speed on it. Let's see if JTS can save a nice birdie that looks to be... Ooh, that kick to the left doesn't really look like it's there. So I would have been surprised by that one if I saw that. So JTS will have to tap in for a par. So I'll take a lead in the early going here. So I'll make the hole-in-one on hole 3. Duke will birdie, JTS will par. So now Duke takes solo second, JTS, Chef Curry, and Eric are tied for third at 3 under. And I'll now have to lock in and try to play really well for the rest of this round. So we have 6 holes to play, and I'm going to be fending off some great players with this lead. We'll see if we can maintain it. We have a tough hole 9 here.
Nice shot.
We'll just have to aim well to the left. Hopefully I hold the fairway. That should kick left and be safe, but a little scary shot there. I think I'm going to have to curve this one around the tree. Yeah, so not ideal. But I'm going to have to just hit a hook shot here. Little hook fade. Or a little duck hook, I should say. And just send it down there. Against the wind. So that's not necessarily ideal. I'm going to be hitting a difficult shot. Now it is the front pin. I think I'll probably have to use a much longer club than I would prefer. Yeah, so I'm probably going to have to use the spoon. And just hope that it takes a nice soft bounce. We'll give that a run. We'll just try that. It's a little downhill that looks to be about as good as I could do. So I'll end up with a makeable putt. That's really all I was hoping for there after getting myself in a little bit of trouble. We'll have to trickle this down the hill. It's going to be a tricky one. If I just kind of give it a tap, it'll roll to my left just a little bit, and then it'll trickle down to the right. So that's the plan. I want to hit this super, super lightly. Just trickle it down there and sink it. So those putts are sometimes really touchy, but if you mentally game plan them before you go after it, you can think about what it's going to do, and this game is often very satisfying, where the things that feel like they physically should happen often do, especially when putting. Duke sinks a nice birdie there. We see Chef Curry with a mean, mean lip out. So Chef Curry will make a par. Looks like JTS is putting for a birdie. I have to hit a nice low-powered spoon in there just to try to save my birdie. But I get it, and I'll maintain that lead through 4 holes. I'll be 6 under. So we'll have hole 2 here, and it looks like we'll have some wind to deal with. 11 miles an hour, not the easiest of setups. I'm thinking the 5 iron's the play here. Gonna have to take plenty of power off of it. Right about to there. We'll just give that a run. Okay, that looks to be pretty solid if that gets a good bounce. Oh! I'll backboard it low off the pin. So that would have been a pretty wild one if that fell. I'll actually watch this replay here to see exactly what happened. Yeah, I kind of one bounce it just short of the pin. And fortunately, it doesn't bounce super far away. It just kind of bounces to a stop, but I'm not sure if I've seen a bounce off the pin like that in some time. We'll tap in the birdie, almost get the hole-in-one. That would have been a very wild one. We'll see Duke tap in for a birdie. JTS is just a little bit short, and he will tap in for a birdie as well. So no movement on the leaderboard there, I don't think. So we see birdies across the board. So no movement at all on the leaderboard, some solid play. We'll play hole 10 here, and we have some interesting holes coming up. So holes 10 and 1 are very similar. Holes 17 and 18 are oftentimes more difficult.
Nice shot.
I'll lose a couple pixels on my drive, which has been common for me lately, but not going to hurt me here. We'll have some very, very light winds to work with. So this may be almost a full 9-iron. Now this pin is not quite the local mode pin. It's a little bit different, but I'm hoping that that adjustment's pretty good. Let's give it a run. I think that's a decent shot. That might kick a little bit to the right, though. Yeah, it will. So I'll just miss it to the right. A very precise shot at that pin. The green kicks a lot more than hole 1's green would. So even though it's a very similar looking shot, it is a bit different in reality. It just takes a different level of precision, and I'll just miss it. So I know that Duke and JTS know that this is an opportunity. I know that they've seen my birdie on the board, and they're going to be locked in to try to make this one. Looks like JTS is actually going to go first. JTS will land in a great spot that'll trickle in. What a shot by JTS. Here comes Duke as well, and his will also fall. So some great shots from the fairway for Duke and JTS, some of the best players in this game, who are chasing me, and now Duke is tied with me and JTS is only one shot back. So some great clutch shots there towards the end of this round. We have 3 holes to play. I'm tied with Duke, and JTS is now 1 shot back. Eric is at 6 under, 2 shots back, definitely within range, and Chef Curry is 1 shot back of that. So we have hole 17, often a very polarizing hole. One that can end very well or very poorly. So I want to give this just at least a chance to run by it. Full power driver, I think, has to be the move, because it's so uphill. I'll hit the full power driver. That should move just to the right. It's not going to move it right as much as I want it to. Oh, and it'll take a mean gliding bounce. So it looks like Duke's shot, who's tied with me, stopped nicely, and mine just caught the wrong part of the green. So Duke makes the birdie. I now have a 50-footer after launching to the back. That's something that just happens in this game. It's not like the most sensical physics, but it's something that happens quite often on hole 17. It's something you have to play with. It is what it is. We'll have to try to sink this one. Not going to be easy, but whoa, definitely don't want to do that. Gotta hit this with the right power. That feels pretty okay. If I can sink this one, that would feel excellent. I'll make the 50-footer. That one feels extremely clutch. And we'll move on to the 7th hole, excuse me, the 8th hole of this match. Tied for first with Duke. JTS still 1 shot back. Eric parred that one. So Eric and Chef Curry are now tied in 4th.
Nice shot.
Okay, I'll leave my shot just a little short again. So I'm not sure exactly what's up with my swing that's causing that. Now, fortunately, it doesn't matter all that much. I'll just be a little short. And this is not going to be the easiest shot anyway, because we have some wind. It just makes it that much harder to actually hit the target. Hit the tiny target, which is the hole, when you have any sort of wind. So the 9-iron is going to be the play. I think I want to adjust this barely to the right, because the green slopes left. I don't think I'm going to necessarily get the kick to the right, so I'll hit this about there on the power meter, I think. And we'll give it a run. Okay, that felt really good. If that gets the right kick and roll, and it will. I'll make it. That one feels extremely clutch to make. And I think we just saw Eric with a very strange physics launch to the back of the green. Did that hit the lip or the pin and cause that to launch 30 feet away? If that's the case, that is extremely unfortunate. That happens sometimes in this game, though. And he does make the putt, so a nice 40-foot plus putt, because that's what, I mean, that's what causes the nice long putt to pop up. So a 40-plus footer after hitting the pin is pretty wild. Duke will sink it. So JTS ends up just a little short, but Duke sinks it. We remain tied. We both eagle this first hole, or this hole number 1, and we'll be tied heading into the last hole. So I have another good round going. I'm 11 under through 8, which is a good score for me. This is pretty standard for Duke, so it feels nice to be right there with him. JTS is at -9 in 3rd place, and we have Eric and Chef Curry at -7, tied for 4th. So now we'll have hole 18. In which direction is this wind going? It is in the face, so not my favorite setup here. This is going to be quite difficult for me. We'll have to try to put this one nicely in the fairway. We have to go for that right one. There's no way I can make it to the left one, and I'll end up in the rough. Okay. This does not bode very well for me. I cannot make the green. I bet you Duke can. And I'll have to just take my medicine and hit it to that second island. So hitting the rough there really hurt me. Ooh, a launch through the rough. Interesting physics here. I have such a hard time in this game when I can't go for that left island. I'm just not the best at playing the right island on hole 18. It's one of those things that's such a specific setup, and I just haven't quite been able to figure it out. So we'll see a couple people make it there in 2. I mean, I'm going to be fighting just to put this one close in 3. But I'll have to give it a try. Felt like the best I could do. It's just not going to move all that much. And it'll kind of launch to a stop. So a weird little bounce there. Ooh, someone has a nice looking shot. That was Duke making it. So Duke was off the green and he just chipped in for the eagle. So that'll win the game for Duke. What a shot there. I am kind of glad that I caught that in my commentary because I saw that shot going and I wasn't sure whose it was. Wow, what a win for Duke. That's got to feel good. Some nice revenge after I played one of the games of my life in the last one I was recording. And Duke will pick up the win. Great game to Duke. Now I need to try to make this because I'm fending off JTS, who is 2 shots back. This is for my birdie. I think that's for his eagle. So I'll have to sink that one. I'll sneak it just inside the left edge. So a nice putt there. Looks like JTS putted that through the fairway, which is always tough to judge the power on, especially when the pin is that short into the green. So it looks like JTS will also birdie. So a couple people had a run at that island, at that green island in 2. Duke makes a nice chip from the short part of that island to get the win. 13 under par through 9. I'll be at 12 under. JTS is at 10 under. Chef Curry and Eric are at 8 under. I'm not exactly sure. Poochie is the name at 2 under, and I think Kevin was at 1 under. So a solid round for me, a great win for Duke, a comeback win. I thought I played pretty well to fend him off, but that's just a great player. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you in the next Ranked Switch Sports Golf video.